Welcome to Your Yes-Filled Life. I'm Brenda Winkle, an intuitive leadership coach and somatic guide for high performers, high achievers who want more freedom, ease, joy, and energy. You are a visionary leader, driven, intuitive, and ready for more. More flow in your work, more presence and joy in your life and relationships, more trust in yourself and the decisions you make every day. Here, we explore the intersection of intuition, leadership, and energetic sovereignty, blending practical strategy with energetic alignment so you can create success that feels deeply fulfilling at work, at home, in your relationships, and in your own well-being. You'll hear inspiring stories, practical strategies, and high-level conversations designed to help you integrate the woo into your daily life. Because when your energy is aligned, everything flows. Ready to elevate how you lead and live? Start by downloading my free energy audit at brendawinkle.com/audit and discover what's fueling or depleting you. Let's do this. Your yes-filled life starts now. Hello and welcome to Your Yes-Filled Life. I'm your host, Brenda Winkle, and today on the podcast, we're going to talk about ways that you can make sure you can create the changes that you want, that you know you need to make in these really uncertain, chaotic, and quite frankly, scary times. So I live in the United States, and as you know, our last 6 months have been very challenging. And so we're going to be talking about ways that you can stay grounded, ways that you can amplify your faith, and ways to come back to center in this episode. So when we have lots of things happening around us, it's really easy to think that we should let go of the things that are bringing us joy. There's almost a survivor's guilt that comes up. And Abraham Hicks, who's one of my spiritual teachers, reminds us you cannot be sick enough to help the sick. You cannot be poor enough to help the poor. And so no matter where you're starting, no matter how you're feeling, it's really important for you to do two things. One is find ways to access your own joy. Now, this is important from a spiritual perspective. It's also important from a justice perspective. And let me tell you why. I reached out to two very good friends of mine for support recently. I was giving a keynote talk. I was hired as the diversity and belonging speaker for an organization's national conference that took place here in Portland at Portland State. And I wanted two leaders in the field of diversity, inclusion, belonging, and equity because I just felt like it added more to my talk. So the two people that I reached out to are two friends. One was Dr. Tanmeet and the other was Cody Raven Morris. And I reached out to both. I explained that the talk was going to merge the concept of somatics, meaning of the body, and belonging and inclusion. And we were going to be looking at ways that we can foster a sense of belonging and inclusion, as well as ways to identify somatically when someone is not feeling a sense of belonging or inclusion. And also, I just skipped right to the punchline. My belief is that we may not be able to control policy, but you can absolutely change your world and the world of the people that you interact with when you are rooted in your own joy, in your own passion, in your own purpose, and when you're really honoring yourself. And this is not coming from a place of selfishness. This is coming from a place of being resourced and showing up for what we have to come in a really resourced way. Now, Dr. Tanmeet Sethi is not only a leader in the field of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, she's also a very well recognized board certified physician and now an Ayurveda specialist. And she is also the author of the book Joy is My Justice, published by Hachette, I believe. And she was a guest on episode 91 of Your Yes Filled Life. And I'll put the link in the show notes there. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, Tanmeet, could you please help me create 2 quotes that would be really relevant to add fuel to this fire that we need to be taking care of ourselves as we take care of community. And boy, did she deliver. So here are the 2 things that she said. Here are the 2 things that Tanmeet said. She said, even when the world is unfair and downright brutal, your justice is in creating safety within your body so that you can step into it all the same. Meaning, if you're not taking the time to feel good in your body, you're not going to show up the same way for the people that you love, for the people that you serve. It's absolutely essential for you to prioritize feeling safe. So how are you going to do that? Are you going to engage in more breath work? Are you going to take more walks? Are you going to take a nap? Are you going to prioritize nutrition? There's lots of right things you can do. Invitation to just pick one. The second thing that she said was this. She said, everything that happens to me deserves my filter of justice. Quote, what do I deserve to receive or feel, even when I don't deserve this? End quote. Even when the world doesn't do right by you, you can do right by you regardless. Wow. That's a mic drop. I'm going to say that again. Everything that happens to me deserves my filter of justice. What do I deserve to receive or feel, even when I didn't deserve this? Even when the world doesn't do right by you, you can do right by you regardless. Tanmeet, thank you so much for offering your wisdom. And if you haven't yet checked out her book, Joy is My Justice, I highly recommend it. She is not only a great author and a wonderful doctor and a wonderful Ayurveda specialist, but she's an amazing human, and I'm very proud to call her my friend. The second person I reached out to was my friend Cody Raven Morris. And she's a personal friend in addition to being the founder of Being Human Together and the professor of social justice and choir at Portland State University. And she was on episode 41 of the podcast back when it was still called Waves of Joy. So if you want to learn more about Cody, you can go listen to that episode. It is a great episode, and I'll put the link in the show notes. So I asked her if she could offer some quotes, and she had multiple quotes. Oh, and by the way, Cody has been nominated 2 times for sure, perhaps more than that, as a Grammy nominated educator. That's right. She's been nominated for 2 Grammys, and she's been featured on NPR recently. And so invitation to go do a Google search on Cody Raven Morris, and you are not going to be sorry. You definitely want to know who she is and to be following her on social media. And I'll put her links in the show notes as well. She said 3 things that are really, really important. Number 1, compromise can be a form of assimilation. Be careful what you compromise on. Number 2, she said, don't leave DEIB efforts for someone else. Get involved. And do not expect people to advocate for themselves. It takes all of us. And number 3, social justice occurs when boundaries are violated. If someone asks you to or to not do something, listen. So, of course, the talk that I was giving, the somatics of belonging, which was that keynote that I made as the diversity and inclusion speaker, these quotes were very relevant. But, since now we've engaged in a war against Iran, it seems so relevant because whether you like the term DEI or not, it really comes down to, are you being a compassionate, empathetic human making decisions that are best for others? Are you considering the highest and best for everyone involved? I got to tell you, if you're throwing bombs at people, that is not the best. You cannot convince me that that is a good thing. You just can't. And if that makes you want to never listen to the podcast again, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I strongly believe in love and light, but I also believe in setting boundaries and calling a thing and valuing all parts of humanity, including Black, Indigenous, people of color, and members of our LGBTQ community. If you don't know, LGBTQ, that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. And, you know, there's legislation that has been slated to take away the rights of women, of BIPOC, of LGBTQ. And here's what it's going to take for that to change. It's going to take us showing up in our fullest radiance. Now, your fullest radiance might vary depending on what's happening in your life. It might vary depending on what types of situations that you might have lived in. And I want you to know that is okay. You don't have to do anything you're not equipped to do. And also, this is a great chance to resource yourselves so that you can show up in that fullest radiance, that full leadership, because we need heart-led leaders now more than ever. The last 6 months of the United States have made this exceedingly clear. We need new leadership at the highest levels. And that means some of us who have been oppressed and held down, this is our chance. This is our chance to step into leadership, because when you show up as your heart-led, fullest self, people are going to listen because it's going to have a different quality of resonance. And in order for you to do that fully, you're going to need some resourcing. So that's where we come in today, talking about how to create that sense of resourcing. So your next level is not something you will achieve. It is not actually linked to high achievement. And I know that that sounds a little bit like, huh? What do you mean it's not linked to high achievement if we're talking about leadership? Well, it's more about remembering who you really are, remembering the power that you have within you. And so I am giving you a sacred invitation into something really special. It's called the Yes to Me Journey. Now, I've held the Yes to Me Journey in various forms over the past 3 years. This one's different. It's a 4-day energetic activation for intuitive, high-achieving women ready to expand into who you're becoming. So if you've ever felt like you're evolving faster than your surroundings, or you've outgrown the rooms that you used to lead, or that your intuition is louder and your life hasn't quite caught up with what you're hearing for your intuition, this is your moment. We're not fixing anything. We're not even strategizing anything. What we're doing is anchoring in a new frequency where clarity is embodied, where your expression feels effortless because you have such deep clarity, and leadership flows from the truth. This is actually a portal, a glimpse into the field of what's possible when you say yes to you. I'm going to give you something really granular, not super glamorous, but really granular that you can start with today to really start to think about, are there ways that you are not saying yes to yourself? Okay. Are you ready for it? Okay. From this day forward, I want you to promise that you will never hold your bladder again. If you are self-abandoning to keep to keep from inconveniencing someone, there are hundreds of other ways that you are not saying yes to yourself. Ask me how I know. So let me tell you a story. I was a teacher for 26 years. And in those 26 years, most of that time was spent either at the junior high or elementary level. Now, at the junior high level, Typically, there's like 3 minutes of passing period between classes, but at the elementary level, the classes come back to back to back to back. So in the morning, I would typically teach 6 classes, and in the afternoon, I would typically teach between 4 and 5 classes, depending on the school and the day. In one situation, I taught 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon. That was a long year. But the point is, I didn't have time to use the bathroom. And so that was the story that I told myself and everyone who would listen for years. I can't use the bathroom. And then I would read statistics about the number of teachers that had bladder infections and kidney infections. And then I would go on with the story about how, teachers have health problems because of this. And I would just go on and beat the drum of, I can't go to the bathroom. I can't go to the bathroom, until one year I finally had enough. And I decided I was going to use the bathroom when I needed to go. So I went to the staff of my building and I said, I'm going to need to dismiss this class 1 minute early for recess, and I'm going to need to take this class in 1 minute late for their music class, which would give me a 2 minute break in the middle of the morning. Now, I had anticipated that there would be some pushback on this, but guess what? No one cared. And that year, I started to step into my own leadership. I started to unlock parts of myself I didn't realize were locked up. And it also showed me all of the ways that I was holding my bladder in other situations, to either keep people comfortable, to not convenience anyone, to not be too big, to not take up too much space. And I tell you what, as I became more and more and more aware of those things, I began to do the work that I needed to do to give myself the courage to step up into my leadership, to not be afraid to be too much or too big or too loud. Honestly, I think that learning to use the bathroom when I had to go to the bathroom was one of the most life-changing decisions I ever made. And so if you would do me one thing, please, from now on, stop holding your bladder. It will literally change your life. Now, I would love for you to come join the Yes to Me journey. We're going to be live July 14 through 17 for 1 hour each day at a variety of time zones, because one of my dreams come true is this is now a platform that goes around the world. And so we have time zones all around the world. So we're at different time zones over the 4 days. And I am accepting a limited number of people. This won't be like 100 people or anything. That would be way too big. So when we get 40 people in this container, the container will close. And speaking of equity and social justice, I am adopting something new for all of my group programs from now on, and that's pay what you can pricing based on the green bottle method. Now, what that means is you'll get the same experience no matter what you pay. And this is really important to me because one of the things that I have felt very, very challenged by over the past 3 years of full-time entrepreneurship is, how do I bridge the gap between the educators? I was an educator who are making a certain type of income, and the gap between other professionals who are making another type of income that is many times 4, 5, 6 times what the educators are making. And then it occurred to me, I can do it by offering all professionals this green bottle method. So I'm really, really excited about it. This is the first time it's ever happened. And this is going to work because the space is built on trust, integrity, and community care. So this is the green bottle method of economic justice. You can Google it and learn more. Each tier reflects a different level of resourcing, not value. So if you need a little bit of extra support, maybe you're managing basic expenses and coaching is kind of a stretch. Maybe you're underemployed or you're supporting others and you wouldn't otherwise be able to access this work, then choosing the supported tier and coming into the Yes to Me journey for $99 is a great option for you. Now, if you are able to meet your needs really comfortably, you have reliable income and some expendable funds, You value this work and you want to honor the full worth. Choosing this tier reflects your balance and reciprocity. And that investment is $139 US. And then we have the abundance tier. And that is for you if you have access to wealth, savings, or business resources. You often invest in coaching, education, or wellness, and you want to support equity and wider access to this work. Choosing the abundance tier reflects community care and shared leadership. And that investment is 179. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, but I'm really excited about this. And, this is for you if you're ready to be met at the frequency of your future. You already feel her, that version of you who moves with clarity, expresses without overthinking, and leads from deep energetic congruence. And you want to share what lights you up without fear of judgment, without being made small. You're done translating your intuition to be palatable. You're just ready to follow and trust. And you're ready for a new level of clarity, resonance, and self trust. And you desire a space that sees you and reflects you back to yourself. This is your space. You could wait, you could keep carrying it all, but you already know what that's costing you. So after the yes to me journey, you'll be able to speak from your center, not from a script. That means you're just going to know what to say from your heart because you'll be so clear on why it matters to you. You'll choose from your body, not from a sense of obligation. You'll actually know how to listen to the cues your body is giving you. And you're going to lead from your knowing, not from trusting somebody else's strategy or template. This is the way that you can become the version of you who no longer waits to be fully seen. So I'll put the link in the show notes, but you can also access it by going to brendawinkle.com/yes to me. That's brendawinkle.com/YESTOME. So as we come to a close today, I would love to offer a peace expansion meditation. The ripple effect of one thought, of one heart rooted thought is incredible. For example, the Institute of Heart Math has studied the heart and the brain, and they know that the electromagnetic impulses that emit from the heart are 500 times greater than those that come from the brain. So let's go into our hearts in just a moment. Now, if you're driving, I'm going to ask you to keep your eyes open and maybe even come back to this when you're not driving. But if you have capacity and ability, invitation to allow your eyes to drop to a soft gaze or to drop closed right now. Take a deep breath in through the nose and sigh out through the mouth with a big exhale. Invitation to take one more deep breath like that. And then perhaps it would feel good to put one hand or maybe both hands on your heart. Just bring all your awareness to the heart as you breathe in and out on your natural breath. And as you breathe and you presence this heart, invitation to send waves of love and waves of peace to the people that are closest to you, offering them love, offering them peace. Thinking of each person who's important to you for just a moment and offering them love and peace. And setting the intention that each person who's able to fully receive the love and peace that you're offering also be able to share love and peace. And as you breathe and you presence this love and this peace, invitation to allow your energy to expand, to grow even bigger, filling your own energetic field with love and peace. Love and peace. Love and peace. Invitation to inhale deeply, pulling in love and peace, and exhaling love and peace all around. Inhaling love and peace, and exhaling love and peace. One last deep inhale, holding the breath briefly at the top. Exhaling completely, allowing the body to move and wiggle, allowing your eyes to refocus or open gently to the room around you. Please do not underestimate the power that you have within you to affect change on a global scale. When you can stay rooted in love and peace and support and honor of yourself. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, would you please go share it with a friend, someone that you care about? And if you feel like you would like to leave a review, it would mean so much for you to leave your 5-star rating and review for the podcast wherever you're listening. Thank you for being here on this journey. I love you. Bye for now. Here's to more peace and more love. We will get through this.